in a way that you'll understand, and you can do anything. Like, you are smart enough and totally capable of mastering these systems, even though it's going to be super overwhelming.
Yep.
So it's really nice to have that kind of message in your mind before you dive into this really complicated system.
Yeah.
And like to keep reminding yourself of that, like,
yeah,
you can do it. It will be hard at first, but you'll get it.
It's a daily mantra for everyone on the Nautilus, I think. Yeah,
totally.
Ed's wonderful. He was my video engineer on my shift when I did Ocean Networks Canada, and he was great for getting me started on all this, helping me just relax in the control room and just give her.
Yeah.
Just give her.
Yep.
That's the plan.
Yep. What did you teach me, Josh? Give her with beans? Or give her the beans?
Give her the beans.
Yeah.
It's an important saying to understand in the RV world.
Care to elaborate?
Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? You know exactly what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
See? There you
He
go.
doesn't want to put you on the spot.
It doesn't put me on the spot. It just means
'Cause you
go
didn't
full
explain
at it. Go
anything.
as hard as you can.
Yeah. Put some mustard on it. I like
Exactly.
that one.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. You've got it.
Little
That's the
mustard.
American translation, I'm sure.
Oh, as opposed to those Canadian beans.
Yeah.
No, this saying has come from an American that we have adopted.
What would the Canadian food of choice be?
I don't know. we just like that one, and so we use it.
Pour on that maple syrup.
American that we've adopted.
No, the saying we adopted, not the American.
Sorry, I heard
Wow.
American that we've
Be
adopted.
very, very careful with my words.
I'm sorry, I misheard.
Well, you know who.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Yeah. I thought that's what you meant. I thought you were saying we physically
We haven't adopted him. Well, we kind of have.
That's why I thought it was so funny.
This is one of our other ROV engineers who actually works for OET. This is Bob Waters, one of the big part of our ROV team, and he's got a great sense of humor and has many, many different sayings that all of us, if you sail with him for long enough, you just end up talking like him, which is a little bit scary.
What are some other sayings?
Oh, no, can't do it. Because it has to be in the moment or else it just doesn't work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Just the way it is.
So Sarah, you're actually getting questions directly on Nautilus Live now. I'm just gonna feed them to you. So, just asking, do any of us get seasick? They say sometimes they feel sick for us when they watch us mapping.
Oh, wow. I mean,
I should just go.
Why was that one directed at Sarah?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
They're obviously just captivated by her voice.
I think it's
true.
your voice people have been
The
commenting on the
radio
whole
DJ
time.
voice.
I personally do not get seasick. The first day, like you said,
You're a little bit off the first day.
A little off
yeah.
the first
I was
day.
as well, yeah.
Yeah. I call it burpy because I feel like I have to burp a lot.
I
Is
thought that was the bread
weird?
pudding.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the ocean.
Okay.
But I'm lucky other than that I don't. But
Okay.
I don't know. About you guys, have you ever gotten seasick?
No. Nope.
You've never gotten seasick ever?
No, I got norovirus though once when I was on board.
That is something different.
Yikes.
That was when we were in the Galapagos actually.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
remember that?
I avoided that, fortunately.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
bad.
that was
Hard.
bad. That was gross.
Was that going around the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
that was
no
gross.
fun.
That was no fun.
Ow.
Really? You've never gotten seasick?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Wow, that's fortunate.
Well, knock on wood, right? And while I say that, we're gonna hit some storm. You're like, sorry, that was not
Great sound
appropriate.
effect.
Great sound effect on
Yeah.
Nautilus Live. Yeah.
It's got some Foley going on.
That was not great. Sorry, I'm very sorry about that.
Very descriptive.
I'm going off SEO for a little bit. Sorry, guys.
No, come back. Josh, did you get seasick? You were telling us about that story the other day where it was crazy, terrible seas. Were you sick then?
No, actually. I wasn't seasick. I was just really tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're constantly having to brace yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of get worn down. I don't really get seasick anymore. I used to get seasick.
Really? You
Yeah.
grew out of it?
Like, just a little bit. It was always not a lot, not like an everyday thing, like maybe the first day or two, but then now it kind
Yeah.
of just doesn't, I don't know,
Yeah.
doesn't happen anymore.
So is there hope for people who get seasick and then just expose themselves enough to
The
being
best
seasick?
thing that you can do is don't take anything and just let your body adjust.
Hmm.
I think it's when you start wearing patches or taking pills or like trying to fight it, then it's
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah.
And I think if you just kind of bear through it, then it'll eventually subside and
Yeah.
you'll be all right.
I could be entirely wrong, but some of it could be a little mental. When I feel even the first couple
Oh, yeah.
days, and on other times I've been on smaller boats, like a crabbing boat once that really felt the ocean,
Yeah.
and I was just like, no, like do not go nap, do not to succumb to it. Just, pretend it's not happening.
Right. I think the more you think about it, the more you build it up into
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of equate to like, when you're skiing or surfing or like doing something where you're anticipating motion
Yep.
and then it gets more natural.
Yep.
It's sort of like that, like you sort of know which way the ship is going to move
Yeah.
after a little while, and
Yeah.
then you're just kind of
You roll with it, literally.
you get those like sea legs, which basically you're not even realizing what you're doing, but you're balancing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I often tell people, and they're surprised, I find after that 24-hour adjustment period, as long as the sea is not is like we are now, 1 to 2 meter swells, this kind of thing, you just don't feel it, really.
Yeah.
You almost tune it out.
Yeah,
Of
well,
your-
transiting is very different than holding
Oh, yeah.
stations. Holding station, even though it's wavy, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But transiting like into big waves can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Ben, the nav on, which watch is he on? A different watch.
Yeah, a different one.
He was telling me that he actually feels more seasick. He doesn't really get seasick, but he feels more queasy when it's less wavy, when it's
okay.
calmer, because it's a lot more subtle, and he
Right.
feels like it's there, but he can't really tell as much,
Okay.
obviously,
Right.
maybe. So that's what he was telling me. And then when it's more bigger waves and just more obvious, he feels fine.
When we transit home, we're going to feel it a little bit more. We've got that 40-hour transit home, and when we're holding position, it's great because typically to hold position, we're going to point our nose into the waves and the wind.
Yeah.
And so we always ride it the same way. But on the way home, we don't get to choose how we kind of cut through the waves, and that's when the ship gives us a bit more of a fun ride.
Yeah, well, the wind will be on our tail at least. It's going to be fairly strong,
Rolling
but
seat, yeah.
it's going to be
following
on our back. So I find that a little more comfortable than heading into it.
Yeah, it's quite a fun ride. I remember we had a strong following sea coming back from ONC, and it was just, it's quite fun.
You know what I'm gonna miss? Sleeping on the boat. I
Yeah?
like the cradle.
Oh, you like to be rocked
It's
to
a
sleep?
little movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's soothing. And then on land, it's just so still.
I agree with that, actually. I sleep much better out at sea than I do on land.
Yeah. I mean, it could be because we're exhausted, but
Yeah, it might have
but
something
I
to do with it.
really, but I also really
Lack of
do
sleep.
enjoy the gentle rocking. Why do you grow out of those, huh? Babies like it.
Yep.
I think
We're being-
it's, oh, sorry, I think
No,
it's
go.
just too expensive to have a giant cradle for adults.
You get a waterbed.
Ooh. I don't know why that's so funny.
Do people have those anymore? Do those exist? Is that still a
I
thing?
think they
I
do
don't-
exist.
do
Yeah,
Really?
they do.
I guess. Water beds.
I don't know if it would happen with a waterbed, but when occasionally we go car camping, we have a big inflatable double mattress. And unless I get it absolutely maximum pressure, as soon as I jump in, I catapult my wife out because we're about a factor of 2 different in size.
Well, you shouldn't probably be jumping on top of an air mattress.
Don't even jump, but you know, I've got a little bit of momentum behind me, you know. I think the only time I felt seasickness coming on the ship, it was in one of these big following seas, and I was going to sleep, and I was being rolled around the bunk, and I started to feel a bit queasy, and I thought, oh, if this goes on a little bit longer, I'm going to start to feel really... next thing I know, it's 8 hours later.
Yeah, I find that I go to sleep and I don't know, I never wake up until my alarm goes off. I sleep so solidly on the boat.
Wow, it's impressive.
Actually, my alarm rarely wakes me up. It's the guilt of my alarm going off that wakes me up.
Yes, yeah.
Especially because Josh and I are sharing a cabin this time. Previously, I was in a 4-berth.
Yeah, that's
And
what
we're-
I'm in.
And we're all on different watches,
Yeah.
and you know, you're conscious of your cabin mates. But yeah, the fear of it going off would always wake me up before it. Because I was, like most people when they're first on the ship, I guess any time on the ship, you're really conscious of not wanting to sleep in and miss your watch changeover.
Yeah.
So I got something with a really obnoxious alarm, really, you know, beep, beep, beep. Yeah.
You know what's fun is getting in and out of the top bunk. Now that's an adventure.
Yep. I actually heard the other day that a lot of folks prefer the top bunk.
Well, I like the top bunk. It's
Okay.
just getting up there is... Well, getting up there is fine. Getting down is a bit of a blind free fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a step.
There
you can
is, but
use.
I can never find the one that's like closer to the ground. So you take one step.
You're
just
like
kind
Neil
of
Armstrong.
lower myself until I hit the floor.
One giant leap for Sarah.
I don't have a bubble cam, okay? I can't just look down at
It's like
the
muscle
floor.
memory, you know you're. it's the
Well, I'm
same
fine
move
now.
every
It
time.
takes some getting used to.
Blind free fall.
Dark, and I'm not turning on the light when other people are sleeping.
So were you in the cabin with the porthole or the one without the porthole?
I have the porthole.
Oh, right. I
I
was
have the porthole in my bunk. I feel very lucky.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks to those of you on Nautilus Live sharing your sea exploration stories and your tales of seasickness or lack thereof.
I kind of love like thinking about everybody just listening in to our random meandering chat. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
you wonder.
all those little
Yeah.
humans out there in the world.
Yep. Soylent internet. It's made of people.
It's deep.
It's made of people. That's pretty good, John.
So you're going to try and come back on board as a lead video engineer at some point and finish the book?
I don't know if lead video engineer would be the thing.
Or at least a video engineer again.
Wayne has like over 30 years of experience doing
Yeah, good point.
shipboard video engineering stuff.
Yeah.
But I would be happy to come back continuously many times indefinitely as a video engineer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. As a science communication fellow, you're allowed to come once as an SCF, and then if you come back, you're a lead. And I'm not sure if, well, some of the Ocean Exploration Trust staff, they come out many times as lead SCFs because they're very good at mentoring the educators. Yeah.
But that's it, right? Is that the cap?
Actually, they've changed it.
Oh, did they?
You're allowed to come back multiple times as a lead SCF now, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know, whether you choose to or not, because you're kind of aware that by going, it's like going on a fairground ride more times. You kind of take the opportunity away from others who could have that.
Right, which is, I think, why they put that rule in there. But
yeah. But I noticed that had actually changed, because I love coming to the ship, but it's, you know, you realize that you kind of take away opportunities for other people to do it. One of my favorite things is the lead, actually, is when you get to go to they bring all of the science communication fellows for the whole year together in March, and we have what's called a science communication workshop at University of Rhode Island. And that's amazing, because then you get to see all of the SCFs together, and you know, rather like everyone on board the ship, they're quite exceptional people, and so to see all their ranges of backgrounds, and it's amazing how, I remember when I went through it as well, the one question they all ask each other is they kind of say, why me? Right? There's all these amazing people in the room. How did I slip through the net?
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's you kind of take.
I can really see that for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kidding, of course. Goodness.
How on earth did their procedures not catch you? I know, you know, but maybe I'm the exception that proves the rule. Actually, well, that's the thing. When I saw the program, I actually wrote to them and said, surely you would not have somebody like me on board, because, you know, I saw
Why did you say that?
Well, first of all, I'm an astronomer, right?
And we're working with NASA.
Yeah, that's true this time round, but that wasn't the case a couple of years ago, and also I kind of thought their profile was going to be more towards middle and high school teachers, you know, of which a few years ago it was like that, but they've really broadened now. They have still a lot of teachers, but I guess what are sometimes referred to as informal educators, so people who work in museums, aquaria, this kind of thing, science writers, a couple more people at university level, you know.
I mean, that's smart, I think. There's so many more people you can reach with that.
Oh, yeah.
And different ways people, you know, educate. And I don't know, it's really cool.
And that's kind of one of the aims of the Science Communications Fellowship, is that even when you've done your time on the ship, you kind of take the message of the ship with you back to your community. So yeah, I love it. It's as I said, it's kind of a privilege to be on board.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, I've just remembered. Let me see if I can make some suitable crinkling sounds on SPL. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. There we go. Okay, there we go. Got some good sounds. I'll just tap my microphone. I would tilt this round so you could read it a bit better, but it's fixed in place. All right, let's get this bad boy out. There we go. Okay, sea salt soiree.
Ooh. how apropos.
It's like your superpower.
What? What? Was that a pun that I didn't know?
No, no, it's actually the correct use of the term.
Yeah.
It was entirely correct. That's what shocked me.
It's like reverse funny. Just pleasantly surprised
It's like,
that I
oh,
actually do know English.
how interesting.
Well, it says soiree. It sounds so fancy.
Yep.
So.
How's the spreadsheet of science, Megan? Oh no, even Megan's gone. It's just the... Oh, right. So keep your questions and comments coming in on nautiluslive.org. We're currently continuing with our vehicle ascent back to the Nautilus, looking for a time for vehicles on deck somewhere on or after 12 midnight. The tentative plan, conditions permitting, is to be back in the water at 0400 Pacific Daylight Time. Where we will conduct our last dive of this subsea cruise. Oh,
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thanks for that.
yeah, no worries. I did a trip on the night before the cruise to, what is it, Walgreens, to get toiletries and chocolate, essentials for the trip. And to those of you on Nautilus Live, our advice always to people thinking of applying for internships is don't hold back. Let us make the decision at Ocean Exploration Trust.
Yeah.
So check out oceanexplorationtrust.org or oet.org. Education, that's going to give you all the information you need on the internships we offer. Typically they're due at the end of each year. And so help us get through the night, Nautilus Live. Keep sending some questions and comments for us.
How does this thing?
As you can tell, we have absolutely no idea where these conversations will take us, so join
for sure.
join the journey. It's like a magical mystery tour.
These ones here. There's one on each side. Well, you're very upright there. Have you found the lumbar thing yet? You have a little blood pressure thing.
There needs to be a whole mini course on piloting the Herc chair.
Yeah, it's quite a number of options on that thing.
How are you doing down there, Alex? You look like you're feeling the cold tonight.
I'm hanging in there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think you're projecting, John.
Yeah, I think, well, look at him. He's got the hoodie on, he's got the hood up.
Like to stay toasty.
Yeah. I think the AC, it feels like it's turned off tonight. It's quite pleasant down here.
Yeah, it's not so bad. So did you have to take time from work, from teaching, to come out?
No, thankfully. The teaching semester at UVic is January to
okay.
April,
Right.
and then September to December. And thankfully the timing's always worked out, and I'm really fortunate that the university is happy for me to consider this part of my job.
Yeah, why not?
You know, it's
Good
not
experience to bring back.
Yeah, it's not a difficult link to make, and it brings back some incredible experience into the classroom. They actually take me seriously for just a couple of lectures.
Right.
So we come back with an eye patch, like a fake eye patch, of course, but you know, you walk in with a fake eye patch with these studded rhinestones on it. First lecture.
I haven't gone that far. I should wear my Nautilus T-shirt, but I'm a bit self-conscious as well because there's a great Nautilus YouTube video of us exploring Endeavour hydrothermal vents, and so it's great to show what we do to the students. But I'm narrating it, and so yeah, I always have to turn down the sound on that.
I'm going to start wiggling that way pretty soon, and that's the faster direction.
Good.
So for those of you asking on Nautilus Live, you are exactly right. These hydrothermal vents that we have been exploring the last few days and will continue to tomorrow, they do occur exactly where tectonic plates meet. This is where the Gorda and the Pacific plates are meeting. That's how Gorda Ridge gets its name. And essentially, as those plates pull inexorably apart, they cause a whole range of geological phenomena. Among them, the hydrothermal vent fields we've been exploring. It's always the way I started talking about the temperature in here. Oh, big red. So just to give a recap, we're continuing to bring Hercules and Argus up to the surface. That whole process takes several hours. We are, I think, pretty much on track for having the vehicles on deck at the end of our watch today, around about midnight. Then there'll be actually a pretty busy period on the ship as the ROV engineers prep the ROVs for their next dive, scheduled for 4 AM Pacific time. Also, once the ROVs are safely secured on deck, the various teams of scientists will extract their samples that they've taken through the course of today's dive and get to work analyzing them and processing them. That's actually one of their busiest times of the day. And then, yeah, back in the water, conditions permitting, 4 AM tomorrow morning. Typically we end up on the seafloor somewhere just before 7 o'clock AM Pacific time.
Ooh, there's a good wave there.
Yeah.
2,000 pounds to 10,000 pounds tension.
Jeez. It's a good spike.
So just another quick question on Nautilus Live, and thankfully we never have experienced an earthquake while on a dive. I guess I should be a little bit specific. We've been diving before at the Endeavour hydrothermal vent system off Vancouver Island, and a few hundred kilometers away there's been an earthquake registered by the detectors operated as part of Ocean Networks Canada's Undersea Observatory. Wasn't anything we could actually detect with without using a sensitive seismometer, but the seafloor is an active place. We just don't get any, thankfully, major events while we're out. So as we continue this blue water dive, we are still monitoring Nautilus Live, so please feel free to keep your questions and comments, observations coming in. These are one of our best opportunities to actually involve you guys in our conversations. Did Sarah go keep Megan company in the back row? Oh, okay, cool.
Slow down a little bit.
Some interesting light effects on Argus.
Yeah, maybe something with floating by.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey Sean, how's it going? Pull up a seat and put on a headset.
Oh yeah?
Was getting their rest to be up at midnight, attack the sub. They're getting their rest to get up and get all their samples out of the sub.
Now you do realize if you sit there, you're responsible for video engineering.
Now you have to figure out how to turn it on.
Oh no, he's got it.
I listened.
So you're trying to keep yourself awake as well till the midnight shift starts?
Yes, it's a little bit of a struggle at this point.
Well, we've got an endless stream of excitement here.
That's why I came up. I heard the excitement in the lounge and decided I needed to be a part of it.
If nothing else, the AC will keep you awake.
Yeah.
So what have you got to do this evening? Couple of IGTs to unpack?
Yeah, I've got 2 IGTs to empty out and figure out what's in them.
And then what does the dive plan look like for you tomorrow? Another 2 at the recently named Apollo vents?
Yeah, it's unclear about what timing that's going to be, but...
Oh, that's true. You'd love to know so you could actually get some sleep after your midnight shift.
Well, I'm going to go to sleep and...
Someone will come and wake you up at the right
someone will come and
time.
get me when it's required. That's usually the way it works.
That's a good approach.
Very interesting.
Quiet time in the blue water.
Yeah, well, it kind of comes in waves. We were pretty frenetic with our conversation earlier.
It was
going all over the map.
There was a lot of conversation, and then it's just sort of trailed off.
I think we're just
Losing
tired.
a little steam.
Yeah.
We're all losing a little steam.
One more round trip to go.
Yeah, I remember Bob called it once, the big blue elevator.
Gotta put in your time to get to the exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Do we have many people on Nautilus Live? Wow.
That's a good idea. Let's
Not too bad.
go see where everybody is. Pretty good coverage around the world. We've got our night owls in North America, some folks in Europe, India, China, Australia. Always give a shout out to New Zealand as well. We've got dedicated fans in New Zealand.
Anyone in Colombia?
Some very often, but no, actually no one in South America tonight.
Okay.
They're all out dancing.
They could be.
Oh, a great question on Nautilus Live. Are there any real differences between the ocean floors in similar latitudes between the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, such as species or sea floor appearance? Certainly in terms of the hydrothermal vents that we have been studying, the species one sees at the Pacific and the Atlantic are actually drastically different. The Pacific hydrothermal vents are known for their species of tube worms, either the small ones we observe at these sites or at other sites you get the big riftier tube worms. I believe in the Atlantic, although I've not visited those hydrothermal vents, they're more dominated by deep ocean adapted clams and mussels. Also in terms of the species of crabs and shrimps they get. So yeah, and they're basically referred to as distinct biogeographic areas, and they appear to be pretty well demarcated. And although it's not my area of study, basically there are groups of people who try to understand those biogeographic distributions of vent species in terms of the deep ocean currents that then waft both the vent material and larvae of these creatures around the oceans. So yeah, great question, guys.
There's been some really great questions that I've heard come in.
Oh yeah, yeah. We are very fortunate in the caliber of our viewers. Hey, thanks to Bobby from Burbank, California. I know you check in regularly. Thanks for helping to keep us awake this evening. It's a good long night shift tonight.
And for some of us, it starts when the vehicle gets on deck.
Oh yeah, yep. I'll be thinking of you for all of the 3 seconds it takes me to fall asleep tonight.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But you'll have the raw power of science to keep you awake at your lab bench.
Raw power of science.
I'm not sure I have a comment for that one. Perhaps not fit for public consumption, that is.
Just make sure you're nice to Sarah and she won't put the wet lab on the quad feed before she goes to bed.
Oh yes, she will.
Hey, do you want some chocolate to keep you awake?
No, thank you.
Oh no?
No.
Okay.
What?
Oh, then
Sorry.
sorry, Jess, it's
no, John,
it's on the way down.
I'm not saying that I need it. I'm just saying I can't. It's hard to comprehend.
Jessica, it's never about need.
I am not a chocolate person.
Oh,
I can easily say no to chocolate.
interesting.
I have a friend back home who's a candy maker, and although his chocolate is fantastic, I can pass on it.
You wanna share contacts?
Well, this stuff's staying in the control room. I think Sam's coming up to relieve me at 11. We were trading off shifts earlier, so she can enjoy it. So how does this control van compare to the control vans of other ships you've been on? You were telling me you've done, what is it? You've done, what is it, 21 cruises in 25 years, or is it 25 cruises in 21 years?
The second.
The latter.
25 cruises in 21 years. I think this is number 25 or 4 or 6. It's somewhere in that area.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure where. It's more than some, not as much as many.
Yep.
You know, many of them look the same. There's a lot of monitors, and it's always cold.
Yep.
It's a little different. It's a little more segregated than I'm used to seeing.
Oh, with the big racks
With
between
with the partitions between.
Yeah. They're not deliberate. I think that's just more computer racks. When I very first walked in here, I was utterly amazed. This is like the observatory I first worked at.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the New Technology Telescope in Chile, operated by the European Southern Observatory at the NTT. And at least when I started working there, the control van was in the telescope building, but it was a really neat dome because the dome rotated with the telescope. So just like we get rocked around here, every time we'd move the telescope to a point to a new sky location, there'd be this little kickback and rock as the dome would move around. And the only thing that kept you on your toes was when you wanted to go out during the evening to go down for a meal or check out what the sky was doing. There'd always be a different way to get out of the building because it would rotate by 360 degrees.
Huh. Interesting.
That'll keep you awake.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of really the amount of available space, temperature, and all the monitors, it looked eerily familiar in here.
And a lot of red.
Yep.
Red lights, red buttons.
Oh, that's a great question that's actually coming. How have control vans changed in those 21 years of operations? Or have they stayed pretty much the same?
I would say more monitors, bigger monitors,
Yeah.
clearer monitors, which is, mostly the camera's improving.
Yep.
Smaller computers.
Yeah. I think it is true that the typical smartphone people have now are more powerful than the computer I started graduate school with.
The other thing that's changed a lot is the archiving.
Yeah.
It started off with magnetic tapes.
Yep.
And then went to CDs and DVDs, and now it's hard drives.
That's true. I guess on the ship, when you leave as a scientist aboard, you're Justin, the computer manager, gives you a hard drive with your data on. Is that right?
I assume so. I've heard that. I haven't been on board before, but in other cruises from years ago, you'd have stacks of tapes or DVDs that you'd bring home. And
it used to be the same with astronomy, but everything's in the cloud now. That wasn't a pun.
But it was a good one.
It was, sort of.
Unintentional, I guess, yeah.
It was a pun, but it was unintentional, perhaps.
The pause at the end implied that it was a pun. Huh? No? Anyone? Is that just me?
That's just a British
Bueller?
thing.
Okay.
No, I'm in agreement with that, Jess.
Okay.
Roger.
But yeah, in the old days, well, I should say in the old days, because I'm not that old, but it used to be what we call DAT tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Used to take a pocket full of those home from each observing run.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the dives were from cruises years ago. And people still have them. I doubt they've ever looked at them.
I've still got them.
Have you ever looked at them?
Oh yeah, because
you'd
put them in and you download your data and, Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess I started my career just after people moved to fully electronic detectors. And so, the generation before me, they'd have brought home photographic films. And then an essential part of interpreting them was, oh, we're just getting to know each other, Sarah.
I'm being evicted, I think, from my seat.
Make yourself comfy on the chart table or something.
Once you have a seat up front, it's hard to go back.
My gift. We can check to see if the deck has anything on it. Probably not out yet, I know. We can send, there's ample people in here, we can just send someone down. Sean, would you mind? Oh, sorry.
For those of you who are interested in Nautilus Live about hydrothermal vent systems, tube worms, biogeography, let me provide you with a wonderful book recommendation. It's a book that's on board the Nautilus and many of us have read from cover to cover, and it's called The Ecology of Deep Sea Hydrothermal Vents by Cindy Lee Van Dover. It's called The Ecology of Deep Sea Hydrothermal Vents. That's Cindy Lee Van Dover. And yeah, I think it might be out of print at the moment, but you can still find copies on secondhand book sites. And it's a great introduction to all aspects of the field. Can we find a spare headset for Wayne? We've got all these wonderful people in the room. Yeah, jump on, everyone. More the merrier.
Hi,
Yeah,
John.
works better when we turn our mics on.
Hi, John.
Hey, Wayne, how's it going?
I'm on chart 2.
I hear you're going to be, you're turning into a live interaction star. You've got a couple of live interactions tomorrow.
I think I got wrangled into that. The girls are taking my my chair time, so I figured I got to do something around here. Make me earn my money.
Wayne's here for moral and question support and technical support.
And I'm also here for another 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So unlike some of us who are only here for another, what, 2 days?
Yeah, and for us to claim your chair when we're seeing cool things and...
Well, it's all good. So...
I stopped updating.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the web interactions with the classrooms.
Oh yeah, they're so much fun.
It is. It's you know, sharing excitement and enthusiasm and knowledge. Yeah, it's.
Well, it's interesting that you know, we're all aware of the outreach that we do with the Nautilus, but I guess sitting in the science communication seat and seeing the live web feed and doing the live interactions, you kind of get these daily reminders of how we reach out around the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's nothing better than being asked completely left field questions on live TV.
Yeah.
For keeping you on your toes.
Definitely do that. Yeah, I got a new appreciation for what those teachers have to do to keep their classroom engaged, and it's nice to be able to throw the kids a bit of a curveball and expose them to what we're doing out here.
Yep.
So.
For those of you just asking on Nautilus Live,
Going outside.
I did do my astronomy PhD at Cambridge University, but I was the other side of Madingley Road. I was at the Institute of Astronomy. which is actually Cambridge is quite fortunate in having 2 astrophysics labs.
So, John, do you prefer looking up or looking down?
Oh,
Another left field question.
it's a bit like saying, John, do you prefer driving your Ferrari or your Porsche? And, you know, each day is different.
Well, sure. You've probably done more looking up than down, though, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I was a postdoc working in Chile, over the 3 years I lived there, I did about 200 nights at telescopes. And that was amazing. I describe it to people. It's a bit like getting your PhD is getting your driving license, and then it was like going to work in a car showroom and driving a different car every day. That was a lot of fun.
Mm. Yeah. John, isn't there a new big telescope, space telescope that's coming online soon?
Oh crikey! It's quite a good year. I mean, the big telescope a lot of folks are waiting for is the James Webb Space Telescope, which is sort of labelled as the successor to Hubble.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's not being controversial to say it's had a few delays along its route, and we're still waiting for it to actually get a firm launch date. And but that when it launches, that's going to be an amazing facility.
Do you think it'll be in the next 5 years?
Yes. Don't try and pin me down to any further date than that.
No, no.
But but actually I think about, I forget, it's either June 12th or June 16th. There's a new telescope being launched. This is a collaboration between the German and Russian space agencies, and it's not going to give images quite like the Hubble or James Webb Space Telescope, but it's an X-ray telescope, and it's basically a new all-sky survey X-ray telescope. And for what I do in particular, my branch of study, that's going to be a pretty amazing new facility. And you know, astronomy's done very well the last 20 years in kind of motivating national governments and international collaborations to build big new space facilities. So it's a great time to be an astronomer.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I get this wonderful opportunity to become an oceanographer as well.
Spend a little bit of time looking down.
Well, also, it's, you know, this particular cruise with the subsea team, it's you know, probably like everybody on board the ship, you know, one's brain is just fizzing with all the different connections it's making between, you know, the potential to apply the lessons of our exploration methods, you know, telerobotics, to space exploration. It's yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm with you on that one.
Actually, that's my standard explanation to people who say, you know, why do you study astronomy or why do you study oceanography? And I tell them, well, oceanography is important, you know, for, you know, practical knowledge of our planet. Astronomy a bit less so, and I tell people it's just fundamental.